Friends, just to give you a quick background, what we are going to cover in next 1 or maybe 1.5 hours, you know how it goes. So in today's session, we are going to cover some basics of valuation, okay? Because in the given time frame, I'll try to cover at least some basic topic on finance, okay? Which you can learn and which you can implement also, okay? Before that, guys, just to give you a quick intro of myself, I'm Manoj Goel and I'm chartered accountant by qualification. I qualified my CA in 2005. I'm having almost 20 years of experience on the corporate finance side. I started my career with the Moody's Analytics as an analyst. Then I moved to Goldman Sachs in mergers and acquisition, IPO advisory. From there, I moved to private equity funds where I advised on various pipe deals on the various sectors. In year 2009, we co-founded Wall Street School, me and my partner Himanshu. Himanshu is from the McKinsey. So the basic purpose of founding this Wall Street School was to impart practical knowledge on the valuation side, people who want to, get into investment banking, core finance role. Okay, so not much marketing here, but just to give you a quick background of Wall Street School. So we, provide training on valuation, financial modeling. We teach real skill set which is required for, aspirants to enter into finance roles. So in today's workshop, we'll focus on finance only. And I'll teach you, how valuation is important. Why valuation is so important in any finance role, whether you are a chartered accountant, CFA, MBA, and you want to be into core finance side. So let's start, guys. And in case of any query, any doubt, please keep this session interactive. You can switch on your mic and you can ask your queries, okay? Absolutely fine, okay? Now, I'm sharing my screen and please confirm if you can see my screen. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, few participants are in waiting room. Perfect. Okay, friends, so topic for today. Guys, we are going to discuss price versus fair value, okay? So price is what? हम price से क्या समझते हैं? So price is what you're paying for a stock in the market. Price what you're paying for a company when you're making an acquisition, okay? Price what you're paying if you're investing into a private company as a private equity fund, okay? Now, as a investor, as an advisor, as an acquirer, I'm always concerned with how much price I'm paying versus what value I'm getting, okay? What's the fair value? So, we'll understand how we can find fair value, okay? What are the different methods to arrive at fair value of any stock, any company? Guys, basically, we have two key methods to find fair value of a stock or a company. What are those two key methods? Any guess? Any idea? What are the key methods to find fair value of a stock? Yeah. Okay. Let me explain. Guys, see the method number one, intrinsic valuation, DCF valuation. So DCF valuation is what? It's a projection based valuation of the company where we do estimation of future cash flows. So this valuation method is entirely dependent upon how the future cash flows will grow, and we decide the present value. We discount those cash flows to the present value, okay? So that's why the name of this method is discounted cash flow, DCF method of valuation, okay? Second method of valuation is relative valuation. Relative valuation is a bit different from DCF valuation because here valuation is completely based on comparison. We do comparison of our target company with other companies which are in the same space, and then we try to find the fair value. Okay, I'll give you a small example of DCF. I'll try to relate this method with a very simple example so that you can understand the gist of DCF. I'm not going to, cover complex DCF model here, but just to make you understand how exactly DCF valuation works, okay, and how it is different from the price. So, guys, DCF valuation, as the name suggests, discounting of future cash flows. Now, if I ask you a question, suppose you are planning to buy a farming land, okay? So you're planning to buy a farming land, and this land is available for some X price. Okay, and you are a farmer. You are not concerned with the day-to-day fluctuation in the price of this land. What you are concerned with is what you're going to produce, farm produce, basically farm produce of this land. Am I correct? You're buying this land not for selling it again, right? Not for resale purpose, but your concern is what? That this land should be able to generate enough farm produce so that this investment is viable to you. Now let's assume that the farm produce, what you can expect from this land is say 1 lakh rupees per year. 1 lakh rupees per year. That's the farm produce. Okay. And let's assume, just to keep it simple, let's assume this return, what you're getting in terms of farm produce, will not change in the future. It will not increase or decrease. I'm assuming this land is going to earn me 1 lakh rupees of the cash flows in terms of farm produce. Now, and if your return, so when you make an investment, you expect some return, right? If your expected return is 10%, I won't accept any investment if the return is less than 10%. Okay. How much price you will pay for this land? What price you will pay? At what price you would like to buy this land? Any idea? Any guess? Any guess, guys? If, I'm repeating my question, if the annual production from this land is 1 lakh rupees, okay, and your expected return is 10%, right? Then what price you will pay for this land? What price you will pay, you will be comfortable to pay for this land? This is what the gist of DCF. So you will understand the whole concept of DCF in this small example. No idea? Guys, it's very simple. 1 lakh rupees yearly return, okay? And your expected return is 10%. So if you divide this 1 lakh with the 10%, what you get? What value you will get? 10 lakh rupees. So if you pay 10 lakh rupees for this land, if you purchase this land for 10 lakh rupees, then your yearly return would be 10% because your yearly, farm produce is 1 lakh rupees. So your yearly return would be exactly 10%, right? So at 10 lakh rupees of the yearly produce, land price, I'm able to generate 10% of the return. So this 10 lakh rupees is nothing but intrinsic value of this land. This is the DCF value of this land, discounted cash flow value, because these 1 lakh rupees, if you discount all the 1 lakh rupees which will come in the future up to infinity, if you discount them with the 10% rate of return, the valuation is coming to be 10 lakh rupees. Now, this is what difference between price and value, guys. Here, this 10 lakh rupees is the fair value. The fair value of this land as per DCF is 10 lakh rupees. And what if the price, suppose the running price of this land in the market is say 15 lakh, right? So for me, this land is expensive. I should not buy this land for 15 lakh rupees because my DCF value suggests that the fair price of this land is 10 lakh rupees, not more than that. Okay. So guys, this is very simple example of discounted cash flow technique, DCF technique. Okay. I'm not going to cover this method in detail in this workshop, but yes, I'll cover another method in detail, which is relative valuation. So I just gave you a gist of DCF. DCF is purely based on how the cash flows, how much cash flows a business will earn in the future and what's the present value of those cash flows. Okay. So this is called DCF value of the land. Any question? Are you clear with the DCF approach? Any question, guys? Is this method clear? Okay, now let me explain another method here, relative valuation. Relative valuation technique, guys. Now, relative valuation is what? It's a comparison based valuation. This method is based on comparison. Comparison based method of valuation. Any example of comparison, guys? What you compare when you invest into the market? Any example of relative valuation? Any example you can think of? Okay. What if I want to invest into IT companies? What if I want to invest into IT companies? Okay, IT companies in India. Okay. Now, to invest into IT companies, I first need to look at what companies are listed in the market. Okay. What companies are listed in the market in the IT space? Can you please name a couple of IT companies which are listed in the market? Any IT company which you know which is listed in the market? TCS, okay. Infosys, okay. Coforge, okay. And few more companies, guys. Few more companies. Persistent, okay. And Wipro, and maybe HCL, right? Now, if I ask you to pick one of these 6 companies, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies there, right? 7th one could be LTI Mindtree also. This is also a IT company, Mindtree, okay? If I ask you to pick one of these 6, 7 companies to invest, which company you would pick out of these 7 companies? Which company you will invest into to get the maximum return? TCS, okay. On what basis you will select TCS, Geeta? Yes, we will look for undervalued company. So Gurish, why don't we take a market price here? Okay, so let's take the market price of these companies, different companies, current market price. Okay, so what's the price of TCS right now? At what price this company is trading at? At what price TCS is trading? Quickly check the market price of TCS. What's the latest price of TCS? Just check the price of TCS. Let me check for you. TCS price, share price of TCS. 2394. Okay. So if I put this price here, 2394. Okay. What's the price of Infosys? Infosys share price?
1232.
Price of Infosys is 1234, right? Likewise, guys, we'll take price of all the companies here, right? Now, if I just compare, okay, so suppose we have price of all the companies. Guys, do you think this price is helping you to decide which company to invest? This market price, the price what you are supposed to pay for these companies?
Yes.
Absolutely no, right? We cannot decide on the basis of these market prices. So what we should do, guys, what we should do next, we should check we should check what these companies are earning. Okay, I'm not going to the DCF valuation, so I'm just focusing on relative part. So guys, what I have right now, I have all 6 companies के market prices. Okay, so I'm going to show you those market prices here. Okay, now just see, we have market prices of all IT companies. Now, here we have 8 companies: TCS, Infosys, HCL, Wipro, Mindtree, Tech Mahindra, Persistent System, and Coforge. Okay. We have market cap. Market cap is what? Total value of the company, right? As per the market price. This is the price which is listed as on 14th of March 2010. Now, guys, along with the market price, so you can see I have market price of all these companies. TCS was trading at 2410 on 14th of March. Infosys was trading at 1248. HCL was trading at 1325, and so on and so forth, right? Now, just looking at the market price will not help me to decide which stock is better priced in the market. So what I did, I took the earning per share of these companies, what these companies are earning in terms of per share. So we got EPS per share of TCS, EPS per share of Infosys, EPS per share of HCL, and likewise. Now, can you tell me which company is good to buy by looking at the price and EPS? What do you think? Which company is good to buy? By just looking at these two numbers. Price versus earnings. So price is what you are paying and earning is what? What stock is returning it back to you. Okay. So which stock will give you better result? What is EPS? Okay. EPS is silky earnings per share, means जितना भी कंपनी प्रॉफिट अर्न करती है ना, उसको अगर हम उसके शेयर्स में डिवाइड कर दे तो एक शेयर के बदले में कंपनी कितना प्रॉफिट अर्न करती है. तो आप देखोगे कि विप्रो एक शेयर, अगर आप एक शेयर बाय करते हो विप्रो का, तो ईयरली अर्निंग्स विप्रो की कितनी है? 13 रुपीज, राइट? विप्रो का ईयरली अर्निंग क्या है? 13 रुपीज. कैन यू सी दैट? सो वेयर एज टीसीएस एक साल में कितना अर्न करती है? 132 रुपीज. Okay, so Gurish, you will go with LTI Mindtree. Okay, on what basis you will go with LTI Mindtree? Because for 160 rupees of earning, how much price I am paying? 4206. Don't you think this stock is slightly overpriced? Just look at the TCS ka share price. 2400 rupees में you are getting a earning of 132, and here you are paying just double the price, slightly lower than the double the price, but earnings are not double. Don't you think Mindtree is slightly overpriced? आपको नहीं लगता कि Mindtree थोड़ा सा overpriced है? देखो, अगर मुझे एक शेयर खरीदना है तो TCS के लिए I am paying just 2400 and I'll get a yearly earnings, right, of 132. On comparative basis, if I buy Mindtree का share, I'm paying 4200 rupees, and what's the EPS? I'm getting just 160. तो लॉजिकली आपको लगता है कि मुझे कौन सा शेयर ज्यादा रिटर्न दे रहा है? 4200 पे 160 या 2400 पे 132? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? सो गाइज, इन दिस केस हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? वी नीड टू कैलकुलेट अ पी मल्टीपल, प्राइस टू अर्निंग मल्टीपल. सो दिस इज वेरी सिंपल मल्टीपल. वी ऑल नो हाउ पी मल्टीपल वर्क्स, बट इधर हम कुछ चेंजेस करेंगे. बट फर्स्ट लेट्स कैलकुलेट पी मल्टीपल. So P multiple is what? Price divided by EPS. Okay, so I'm dividing my price with the EPS. And now if I just copy this, see this formula for all the companies. Now see guys, see the situation now. For TCS, I'm paying just 18.3 times of earnings, right? Price is 18 times of yearly return, yearly earnings. And for Mindtree, I'm paying 26 times. And for Coforge, I'm paying 31 times. And for Persistent System, I'm paying 42 times. Which stock you think is gonna to give you best return in the future now? What do you think? Is this Coforge, Persistent System, Tech Mahindra, or some other stock? Which is overpriced stock and which is underpriced stock? Wipro? Why Wipro? Why you want to go with Wipro? And you can switch on your mic if you want. That's absolutely fine. Any logic to go with Wipro? Wipro P, it has lowest P multiple. Okay, perfect. So you're paying less for Wipro. Okay, just a minute, guys. Let me check my audio settings. Oh, I'm sorry. My audio was mute. Now, yeah. Now you can speak, guys.
So M cap was low, like 2 lakh something, and this PE is 15.x, which is comparatively
Low.
better than the first 6.
Right. Okay. I agree with your argument of P multiple is less, but market cap is low. Doesn't matter to me because I'm not going to buy the whole company. As an investor, I'm concerned with what per share price I'm paying versus what earnings I'm getting. Right. So in this way, definitely I'll go with Wipro because I'm paying lowest price against 1 rupee of earning of Wipro, whereas the highest, most expensive company is what? What do you think? Which is the most expensive company? Persistent system. Persistent system. Okay. Now, guys, if this is the most expensive company, then why this company's prices are not correcting? Why market is giving almost 3 times valuation to persistent system? Ideally, as per you, this company should trade at P multiple of 1560. That the price should be around 15-1600. Why? So yeah. Maybe because the market has much more confidence in persistent system, that's why it's overvalued. Like they know that it's going to perform, and there's a hype created, which making everyone subscribe towards. Exactly. But guys, just to understand, what market is thinking about persistent systems future earning, I have taken a growth also. Can you see that? I have a EPS growth. This EPS growth is what? Future expected growth. So this growth, expected growth is coming from market consensus estimate, analyst reports. Okay. So this is the market consensus estimates. Okay. Now, if you see the growth of these companies, Wipro is expected to grow at a rate of 8%, whereas Mindtree is expected to grow its earning at a rate of 14%, and Coforge is expected to grow its earning at 39%. Can you see which company is going to grow at a faster pace? किस कंपनी का अर्निंग सबसे हाईएस्ट रेट पर ग्रो करेगा? कोफोर्ज. ओके. इसका मतलब गाइस, ये जो पी मल्टीपल है ना, विच यू नॉर्मली सी इन द मार्केट, दैट डज नॉट गिव यू अ कंप्लीट पिक्चर. रीजन बीइंग कि this P multiple is sometime influenced by difference in the growth of earnings. How the earnings will grow in the future, that is also factored in the current market price. So guys, how do we neutralize this impact? Any idea? If the earning growth is different than different P multiple, then it's very confusing, right? Low P multiple may be bad. Maybe the company has the lowest growth in the industry, and the high P company may not be that bad, maybe may not be that overvalued because the company may be having a higher growth. So how do we justify this? How do we neutralize this impact of difference in the growth? कैसे neutralize करें? So price से जब आपने earning पे move किया guys, तो you neutralize the impact of difference in the EPS, right? So what you guys did, कि for 1 rupee of earning, how much price I'm paying? तो difference in the EPS का impact neutralize हो गया. यानी every P multiple is showing price against 1 rupee of EPS, right? So here the impact of difference in the earning size has been neutralized. Now, what about this growth? There is a difference in the growth as well. And most of the time as a retail investor, we do this mistake. We just look at the P multiple, but we don't look at earning growth, right? So क्या करेंगे अब इसमें? What we should do now? Guys, इसको न्यूट्रलाइज करने के लिए हम लोग पैग मल्टीपल कैलकुलेट करेंगे, यानी P का एक्सटेंशन पैग. अब पैग में हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं? What we will do? Price to earnings divided by, अभी जैसे हमने पहले प्राइस को ईपीएस से डिवाइड किया था, सो दैट कि वी कैन न्यूट्रलाइज द इंपैक्ट ऑफ डिफरेंस इन द ग्रोथ, डिफरेंस इन द ईपीएस ऑफ द कंपनी. अभी मुझे डिफरेंस इन ग्रोथ को न्यूट्रलाइज करना है, राइट? तो व्हाट आई डू, P डिवाइडेड बाय ग्रोथ इनटू 100. Why multiplied by 100 guys? ग्रोथ को हम 100 से क्यों मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि growth is a percentage, right? So if I divide this with growth into 100, now see the result. Tell me guys, these four set of companies, so मैंने क्या किया? I have differentiated first four companies from the other four companies, right? These four set of companies are part of Nifty 50. They are the large cap IT company. Nifty 50 index, आपको पता है Nifty 50 index क्या है? Top 50 companies of the market.
50 companies.
Yes, sir. Top 50 companies.
Right. Exactly. तो निफ्टी 50 की जो टॉप 4 कंपनीज हैं मैंने उनको अलग रखा है, और उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट 50 कंपनीज मार्केट की, यानी अगर मैं 50 के बाद नेक्स्ट 50 कंपनीज में लार्जेस्ट कंपनीज में पिक करूंगा तो ये 4 कंपनीज आईटी कंपनी जो कि फॉल करती हैं. नाउ गाइज, कैन यू सी when you compare the PEG multiple of these 4 companies, do you see any difference in the valuation here? Do you see any difference in the valuation? Almost same. These 4 companies are trading at a PEG multiple of 2 times, 2, 2.3, 2, almost same. इसका मतलब guys, ये चारों कंपनीज में से मैं कोई भी कंपनी बाय करता हूं, I'm not overpaying or underpaying for these stocks. At a P level, it looks like कि Wipro is underpriced and HCL is overpriced. But at a PEG level, when I discount the growth, HCL is slightly overpriced and Wipro is slightly underpriced, but not much, right? Wipro भी 2 के PEG multiple पे है और TCS भी 2 के PEG multiple पे है. तो मेरे लिए TCS और Wipro में कोई फर्क नहीं है. अगर मुझे बाय करना है तो मैं TCS बाय करूंगा, right? TCS is more reliable because ग्रोथ भी सेम है ऑलमोस्ट. ऐसा कोई डिफरेंस इन विप्रो का, टीसीएस का ग्रोथ स्लाइटली हायर है कंपेयर टू विप्रो. नाउ इफ आई कम डाउन टू दिस नेक्स्ट 4 हाई ग्रोथ कंपनीज, कैन यू सी विच इज द डार्क हॉर्स, which company is going to give you highest return and which is most undervalued stock in the market right now? Coforge. The Coforge. Exactly. Guys, this stock was trading at a P multiple of 31 times. Rather than investing into TCS or Wipro or HCL, I would like to invest into Coforge. Can you see? After discounting the impact of future growth, my PEG multiple is just 0.8. Just 0.8, guys. So 31 times stock may be better than the stock which is trading at 18.3 times of earnings. Reason being such a huge difference in the growth. And this growth will make up this high P multiple in the future. When the earning will grow at a faster pace in the future, you will see that stock will become even cheaper at current price. And that's the reason, guys, why market is giving high valuation to Coforge and still this stock is underpriced. But this thing we cannot get to know by P multiple. Plain P multiple does not help you, to understand the stock is overpriced or underpriced. Okay, so we developed one another, extension of P multiple, which is PEG. Now, you might be wondering कि growth कहाँ से आएगा? Who will tell me कि how the companies will grow in the future? Any idea? How we got this future growth? This is not the past growth, guys. This is expected growth in the future. Expected growth. From where we'll get this growth?
Annual report.
No, company does not give you a long-term growth in the annual report. They give you actual data in the annual report, but they don't. Analyst research. But how do you find if you are an investor in the market, and do you think you will get the access to the analyst research reports? How you will get this research? So guys, I tell you one tool, or rather database. No, it's not risk-free, Guresh. See, yes, EPS growth it is, Pratham, but how do we get this EPS growth? And even if you get this growth from one research report, don't you think that research report can be biased? Suppose this Coforge is covered by 10 different analysts, maybe JP Morgan, maybe Goldman Sachs, maybe Motilal Oswal also, right? Maybe what can be Deutsche Bank, right? So various research firm, can have a different view about this company. Vinita, it should not be revenue growth because in P multiple, we are concerned with the growth of EPS, right? What we have in denominator EPS. So I'm concerned with the growth of denominator, how this denominator will expand to make this P multiple lower in the future, right? So it should not be growth of revenue, it should be growth of EPS, okay? So from where do we get this growth? Guys, first of all, if I take reports, growth from the one of these reports, it can be biased. You know, it is possible that these analysts can be wrong, right? So what I'll do, guys, I'll take a consensus growth. Consensus growth क्या होता है? Consensus growth होता है जिस पर majority of the analysts agree करते हैं, right? यानी अगर एक कंपनी को 15 analyst research firm cover करती हैं, that median growth of those 15 analysts would be a market consensus. Okay, so consensus you can find from this database. Please make a note. This website called Market Screener. This is very useful website. So I show you how we can, you know, get the growth ka data from here. Okay, so Market Screener. Just see, guys. And suppose I need to check growth for Coforge. Okay, so I'll check Coforge Limited. Okay, now this is the company. Go to financials. Okay, analyst 4. Can you see? Here we have different options. So you have to go to analyst forecast. Just click on it and move down a bit. Move down. So you will get the financial ka table, key financials ka table, but you just have to move down a bit. Down. And somewhere you will get items per share. Can you see? These are the items per share. Guys, see EPS. The last reported EPS of TCS was 24.41. Coforge, sorry. So last reported EPS was 24.41. ये 2025 का EPS है, March 25 का. अभी 26 आना है. So 24.41 EPS of 2025. 24.41. Okay. EPS for earnings per share for 2028. You can see the last column is for 2028. So what's the EPS for 2028? Please help me with the EPS of 2028. कितना EPS से ग्रो करेगा ये? 65 हो जाएगा. And this 65, ये जो आप estimates देख रहे हैं ना guys, these are the 3 years के estimates. Okay. Next year EPS will become 42. उसके next year बनेगा 54, then 65. So these estimates are based on all the research reports का median consensus, मतलब average, estimates. Now in 3 years, 2028 में EPS grow करके कितना हो जाएगा? Future में क्या expect कर रहे हैं हम लोग? 64.3. Guys, can you tell me what's the growth here? What's the annual growth here? At what rate earnings will grow? बता सकते हो growth क्या आएगा इधर? अगर मैं आपको बोलूं कि 3 years में, ये 3 साल है ना बीच में, देखो there are 3 years in between, 25 से 28 तक. बता सकते हो कि average growth क्या है yearly? Average growth of 3 years. Yearly growth कितना आएगा इधर? नहीं? Have you heard of this CAGR, compounded annual growth rate? Concept सुना है ये CAGR का? CAGR. नहीं? Guys, CAGR क्या करता है? CAGR आपको average return देता है, right? Average return on yearly basis. Okay? तो मैं क्या करूंगा यहां पे 25 से 28 के बीच में किस रेट पर ये ग्रो कर रहा है EPS? I'll calculate that. कैसे निकलेगा? देखो 65 would be my last year EPS divided by EPS of 2025. यानी यहां से स्टार्ट होगा EPS और पहुंचेगा कहां तक? 65 तक in next 3 years. Right? Bracket close. Okay? Raised to की power. Raised to की power. Bracket start 1 divided by 3. ये जो चेंज है हमें 3 साल में डिवाइड करना है. -1. ये एक एक्सेल फॉर्मूला होता है गाइस ग्रोथ निकालने का, ईयरली ग्रोथ निकालने का. यानी 24 से EPS 65 होगा तो एवरेज रेट जिस पे ये ग्रो करेगा वो क्या है 39%। ओके, सो ये जो आप 39% देख रहे हैं, दिस 39% हैज बीन कैलकुलेटेड बेस्ड ऑन द नेक्स्ट 3 years का ईपीएस का ग्रोथ, and which we have used to neutralize the impact of growth in the EPS in the PEG multiple. So guys, this PEG multiple has discounted the impact of growth in the future, which we have taken from the analyst research reports from market screener. आपको एक एक रिपोर्ट में जाके चेक करने का जरूरत नहीं है। आप अगर मार्केट स्क्रीनर से ग्रोथ लेंगे तो दैट ग्रोथ इज बेसिकली अ मीडियन कंसेंसस एस्टिमेट्स ऑफ ऑल द ब्रोकर्स। तो आप देख रहे हैं 3 years का हमारे पास एस्टिमेट्स है, राइट। तो नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी आप किसी स्टॉक में इन्वेस्ट करने जाएं, सबसे पहले उस सेक्टर को कंपेयर कीजिए। आप देखिए कि उस सेक्टर में और कितनी कंपनीज हैं जो किस प्राइस पर ट्रेड कर रही हैं, उनका फ्यूचर ग्रोथ क्या है, एंड यू कैन यूज दिस मार्केट स्क्रीनर, राइट, टू गेट द फ्यूचर एस्टिमेट्स ऑफ दोज कंपनीज एज पर ब्रोकर्स। तो गाइज, दिस वाज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ P multiple and how this P multiple can be used more effectively through PEG multiple. Any query in this PEG multiple, guys? Any doubt related to PEG? Okay. Others, please confirm.
Sir, can you show the formula again?
For formula for
EPS 2025 and 2028.
okay, Kager ka, sorry. Yeah. Let me just clean this. Marking. So formula is very simple. EPS of your last year, 2028 ka EPS divided by EPS of your base year, which is 2025 ka EPS. Bracket close. Right? Keep this in bracket. And this raised to the power is basically just to divide this growth into 3 years. 1/3 and then outside the bracket -1. Is this clear? This formula?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now guys, what about, I've taken one more example here. Now see, I have these two companies. I'm comparing Swiggy with Zomato. So we all know Swiggy and Zomato, their business model. क्या करती हैं companies? What kind of business these companies are into?
Food delivery.
Food delivery, right? Both of them are listed, guys. ठीक है? The current market price is 216 versus 282. If I ask you to pick one of these two companies, which company you would like to invest into? इन दोनों में से आपको एक में इन्वेस्ट करना ही है. Which company you will invest into? You would invest into Eternal. Okay. Gorish, why Eternal? Why Zomato?
Sir, because it has a positive PE.
Positive P. Okay. Swiggy because P ratio is low.
Sir, it can be also one reason, like the company has just turned profitability, hence the PE may be inflated.
Okay. Vinita, when you are saying Swiggy has a low P, that's not correct interpretation because this P is negative rather. Negative P का मतलब क्या है? Company का EPS is negative. Company is into losses. So when P multiple will come negative, when the price divided by EPS is negative, when the company is earning losses, तभी तो P negative आएगा, तो that company is too bad in terms of earnings. So in terms of P multiple, अगर आपको P देखना है तो मुझे लगता है Eternal better है. But guys, do you think 900 का P is justified? आपको लगता है कि कोई भी कंपनी 900 की P पे ट्रेड करना चाहिए, और अगर करती है तो क्या मुझे बाय करना चाहिए उस स्टॉक? No. The reason is, guys, why market is giving such a high valuation to Zomato and Swiggy? In fact, both these companies. Swiggy को losses में तो zero पे ट्रेड करना चाहिए. Why I'm buying a stock which is making a losses every year? Guys, the reason is, for this sector, you're comparing a wrong multiple. This P multiple is not useful to compare the sector like Zomato and Swiggy. क्यों? Guys, देखो, ये दोनों कंपनीज अर्ली ग्रोथ स्टेज कंपनीज है, राइट? एग्री और नॉट? ये दोनों, बोथ दीज कंपनीज आर अर्ली ग्रोथ कंपनीज, राइट? अब अर्ली ग्रोथ कंपनीज में इन्वेस्टर्स का कंसर्न क्या है? दे नो कि दीज कंपनीज वुड बी मेकिंग लॉसेज इनिशियली. दीज कंपनीज वुड हैव हायर लॉसेज बिकॉज ऑफ द हायर कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन ऑफ द कस्टमर्स, राइट? क्योंकि कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन इतना, कस्टमर को एक्वायर करने का कॉस्ट इतना ज्यादा है, मार्केटिंग एक्सपेंस इतना ज्यादा है, राइट? अब होगा क्या? over the period of time when these, yes, Vinita, you are right. We should consider some other metrics. So for loss making industry, guys, it does not make sense to compare price versus earnings, because investors are not concerned with earnings. Investors are concerned ki let these companies grow their business, and in future the company which is able to penetrate more in the market, the company which is able to capture more market share, will have a highest valuation, because profit will eventually follow. What happened in case of Amazon, which is a $1 trillion valuation company today? This company was into losses for many years, but investors were convinced about their business idea. They were more concerned about their growth in the sales, not in the growth in the earnings, because they knew कि initially इस company के losses होंगे क्योंकि ये नया business model है. But once this company will establish its product in the market, its business in the market, then profits will eventually follow. तो इस इंडस्ट्री में प्रॉफिट्स आर नॉट द कंसर्न राइट नाउ. Profits is not the major benchmark to compare their valuation. What matters to the investors is how they're able to expand their business, which is reflected in the sales. कि कंपनी अपनी सेल्स कितनी बढ़ा पा रही है. तो गाइज, व्हेन आई कंपेयर दीज कंपनीज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ, कैन यू सी द सेल्स मल्टीपल इज ऑल्सो देयर. ईवी का कॉन्सेप्ट, बिकॉज वी हैव नॉट मच टाइम, राइट. सो ईवी का कॉन्सेप्ट मैं आपको सिर्फ ब्रीफली समझा सकता हूँ यहाँ पे, राइट, नॉट इन डिटेल. सो ईवी का मतलब क्या है गाइस? ईवी का मतलब है इक्विटी का वैल्यू प्लस डेट का वैल्यू. मींस कंपनी जो अदर सोर्सेज से फंड्स रेज कर रही है, राइट. दैट्स व्हाट द एंटरप्राइज वैल्यू. इक्विटी में सिर्फ हम इक्विटी की बात करते हैं, बट ईवी में वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल द सोर्सेज ऑफ कैपिटल. क्योंकि जब आप बिजनेस करते हैं तो आप इक्विटी से भी पैसा डालते हैं. यू पुट योर इक्विटी इनटू द बिजनेस एंड यू आल्सो रेज सम फंड्स फ्रॉम द बैंक्स, राइट. तो एंटायर फंड्स इज यूज्ड टू जनरेट सेल्स, राइट. जब आप सेल्स करते हो बिजनेस से, तो सेल्स पे डेट होल्डर का भी तो राइट है, क्योंकि उसको इंटरेस्ट देना है वहां से. तो इसीलिए हम लोग, हाँ, माइनस कैश एंड माइनॉरिटी. तो आई एम नॉट गेटिंग गौरीश डिटेल इनटू ईवी कॉन्सेप्ट, नहीं तो उसी में मतलब आई नीड 1 hour का टाइम टू एक्सप्लेन ईवी. पर जस्ट अ ब्रीफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट ईवी. ईवी रिप्रेजेंट्स व्हाट? द टोटल सोर्सेज ऑफ कैपिटल यूज्ड इन द बिजनेस टू जनरेट दिस सेल्स. क्योंकि सेल्स को करने के लिए क्या होगा? इन्वेस्टर को पैसा डालना पड़ेगा बिजनेस चलाने के लिए, एंड दे नीड टू रेज फंड्स फ्रॉम द बैंक्स आल्सो. नाउ guys, can you see this EV to sales multiple? EV divided by sales. Do you see some consistency in this multiple compared to P multiple, which was very erratic? Can you see minus 16 versus 900? Do you think this multiple makes sense or this multiple makes sense? Which multiple is making more sense to the market?
EV by sales.
EV by sales. So guys, market is closely tracking sales का number, not much of earnings का number. तो जब आप कंपेयर करते हो किसी भी सेक्टर को, तो what matters to you is not just EPS always. P multiple सबके लिए suitable नहीं है. अगर आप यंग इंडस्ट्री को कंपेयर कर रहे हो, इफ यू आर कंपेयरिंग स्टार्टअप्स और टेक कंपनीज विच आर इन द अर्ली ग्रोथ स्टेज, don't look at P multiple. Which multiple makes more sense? EV to sales. Now, guys, don't you think sales multiple can be higher for the company जिसका sales ज्यादा रेट पे ग्रो करेगा फ्यूचर में? Don't you think if Zomato is commanding 6.6 times of sales, either this company is expensive compared to Swiggy, or maybe this company is expected to grow faster compared to Swiggy? दोनों possibility हैं. Do you think? Which company is underpriced? अगर मैं EV to sales देखता हूं तो which is most underpriced stocks out of these two? Swiggy, right? But guys, can you see the sales growth? Again, I took the sales growth from market screener, which is the consensus sales estimates of all these companies. Can you see the difference in the growth of sales? What's the difference? 61% for Zomato, and Swiggy's sales is expected to grow at a 30%. Now guys, do you still think Swiggy is most underpriced and Zomato is overpriced in these two companies? Do you still think so?
No, Zomato is underpriced.
Zomato is underpriced because guys, when I divided this EV sales with the growth, I found that though difference is not much, 0.11 and 0.14, but EV to sales by growth basis per Zomato is better priced, right? So In this case, I'll not just go by EV to sales multiple. I'll rather go with EV sales to growth multiple. Okay. Now, if I compare these two companies, Nika versus Mishu, because again, these two companies are having almost similar business model. Okay. Now, if you look at the EV to sales again, P multiple does not make sense. 450, 280. There cannot be any comparison of 480 and 280 ka P multiple, right? But the main reason is these are two high tech, new technology companies. So EV to sales multiple makes more sense. 7.9 and 6.5, right? Now, guys, do you see much difference in the Nika and Mishu ka valuation multiple in terms of sales? Do you see much difference? 7.9 and 6.5. बहुत ज़्यादा difference लग रहा है आपको?
No.
No? And see, guys, the growth is also almost, yes, Vinita, lower the better. Okay, lower the multiple means you are paying less for the company, right? Now see, guys, growth is also almost same. इसका मतलब गाइस क्या है कि मार्केट जब आप मल्टीपल्स कंपेयर करते हो मार्केट में, और जब मार्केट प्राइसिंग करती है तो मार्केट कुछ भी रैंडम प्राइसिंग नहीं करती, राइट? मार्केट ऑलवेज अप्लाई लॉजिक्स, right, to the valuation. So here we can see clear cut logic why market is giving almost same valuation to both the companies, because their expected growth is also in the same territory. But when I divide this EV sales with the growth, I found Mishu is slightly better priced compared to Nika. कौन सी कंपनी ज्यादा better priced है? Slightly, not much. Which company slightly? Mishu. So guys, if we conclude, the discussion we had on the basis on these multiples, or if I start with my methods of valuation, okay? So my methods of valuation, there are two basic methods. One is DCF and one is relative valuation. DCF ko we did not cover in detail, but basic concept of DCF is there we try to find value based on what company will earn in the future, right? उसको हमने बहुत डिटेल में नहीं किया. वी अंडरस्टूड दिस विद एग्जांपल ऑफ कि अगर आप कोई लैंड ले रहे हो, फार्म लैंड, तो फार्मिंग प्रोड्यूस जो आएगा, दैट्स व्हाट द बेसिस ऑफ दैट फार्मिंग लैंड का प्राइस, फेयर वैल्यू, राइट? Same concept we can apply on the companies. In case we apply DCF on the companies, so we create models, we do projection of cash flows. So there's a concept, right? The second method of valuation is relative valuation. इन रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन में अंडरस्टूड कि हम लोग DCF नहीं करते यहाँ पर, हम सिंपली ये देखते हैं कि कौन सी कंपनी दूसरी कंपनी कंपैरिजन में बेटर प्राइस्ड है. यानी यहाँ पर हम सिर्फ कंपैरिजन के बेसिस पे डिसाइड करते हैं, राइट? वी डोंट लुक एट कि हाउ द कंपनीज अर्निंग विल ग्रो इन द कैश फ्लोज विल कम इन द फ्यूचर एंड ऑल. वी सिंपली सी कि हाउ अ पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक इज प्राइस्ड compared to the other stocks. इसको हम बोलते हैं कंपैरिजन बेस्ड वैल्यूएशन. दैट्स व्हाई दिस मेथड नेम इज रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन. ठीक है? इन रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन वी डिस्कस्ड कि हर इंडस्ट्री के लिए डिफरेंट मल्टीपल्स एप्लीकेबल होंगे. प्राइस टू अर्निंग मल्टीपल may be relevant for those industries जो कि old industries हैं, which are making profits for ages, right? But for new tech industries, we have to apply slightly different multiples where the valuation is more related. So for new tech companies, valuations ज़्यादा किससे relate करते हैं? Earnings से ना relate करके sales से, right? So we compared EV to sales multiple, and then we saw कि which company is better priced or overpriced or underpriced. We also discussed कि सिर्फ करंट मल्टीपल से हम लोग कुछ भी जज नहीं कर सकते जब तक हम उसको उसकी ग्रोथ से रिलेट ना करें. तो हमने क्या किया, मल्टीपल में ग्रोथ को डिस्काउंट किया, और ग्रोथ हमने कहाँ से लिया? मार्केट स्क्रीनर से. यानी जो मार्केट में एनालिस्ट हैं जितने भी, राइट? एक एक कंपनी को गाइज 30-40 रिसर्च फर्म्स कवर करती हैं. तो यूजुअली जो एनालिस्ट का मीडियन रहता है ना एस्टिमेट्स, ये दोज एस्टिमेट्स आर प्रीटी क्लोज टू द एक्चुअल परफॉर्मेंस व्हाट कंपनी विल डिलीवर. तो मेजोरिटी ऑफ द एनालिस्ट के अकॉर्डिंग हमने ग्रोथ निकाला कंसेंसस के अकॉर्डिंग, और उसको फिर हमने यूज किया टू न्यूट्रलाइज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ग्रोथ इन द मल्टीपल बाय यूजिंग PEG multiple or EV to sales by growth multiple. So are you guys clear with this relative approach? And there are various multiples guys. These are the two basic multiples I covered with these two examples. But बहुत सारे multiples हम लोग use करते हैं different industries के लिए. EV EBIT भी use होता है, EV EBITDA भी होता है, aviation sector के लिए अलग होता है, और we make some adjustments. EV कैसे निकलेगा and all. वो those are the technical things. Okay, so but briefly we covered the concept of relative valuation. So I hope you guys could relate this. Any doubt, guys? इसमें कुछ भी किसी को डाउट है, क्वेश्चन है, प्लीज आस्क. यस मानसी. Okay, great guys. So, friends, I hope you could learn something from this session, and I'm sure you guys are going to apply these concepts when you would be deciding. Yes, please ask your query. Vinita, please go ahead.
Two, three queries I'm having.
Sure.
First, in the sales growth in general, because I was preparing some financial model.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, now the revenue growth rate is not being identified. Like the company I'm telling you for the HUL, there were many revenue fluctuations last 2-3 years.
Hmm.
So in that cases, like the company like HUL, which is having the previous many fluctuations, so how can we interpret for our future projection, like in the forecast period, how we will get to know what will be the exact appropriate approximate, like we can say the growth rate revenue, because from different sources the different rates are there. So to finalize or to conclude as a fresher, like for the very first time, so like how we can interpret that?
Okay, so Vinita, if the company has lots of fluctuation in the historical growth or profit margins also sometime, so what we do, we create different cases in our model. If you're creating a say DCF model or projection model, so what we do at the end of the, once we create a base case, the base case would be based on the analyst estimates, management guidance, and then we run a sensitivity analysis. आपने कभी सेंसिटिविटी रन किया है एक्सेल में? सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस, राइट? तो
Yes, I have done that. What you are telling now, the scenario cases and sensitivity has been done, but the rate which was previously there for the actual and what we are forecasting because of the expansion and the capital expenditures altogether will be different. So that is creating a problem for me.
एक्चुअल का अगर मैं आपको, लेट मी शो यू एक्चुअल का.
Because of वो rate identify करने में बहुत issue आ रहा है. Other things are just completed from my side.
Rate of growth you are saying, right?
Yes, revenue growth.
Okay. अगर मैं एनालिस्ट फोकस देखता हूँ इसमें, growth is not much different. I don't think any erratic growth is coming in the future. Just see they are projecting growth of.
I'm having it for 27-28. Okay, I'm doing up till 2031.
I understand.
2020-31. Okay, so one more thing, sir. I can take the growth rates from here. Can I mention that in my financial model that I've taken the growth rates from this market screener? Is it a reliable source to mention?
Yes,
I am just supposed to interpret from myself only.
Yes, it is reliable. Reason being, these are the estimates not based on the individual analyst, right?
Okay.
They are based
This
on
can
the
be
many
quoted,
analyst
right?
research reports. So it's a consensus estimate. So they are mostly reliable.
Okay.
Okay.
And so for like 2029 and 3031, like for the further 2 years, and for the perpetual growth, so I can assume it na by myself, perpetual growth rate be like it should be average minimum, because the
No.
perpetual growth
Perpetual
rate
growth should be close to the GDP growth rate of the country, because any country, any company can sustain a higher growth in the short term, but in the long term, very long term, the growth will eventually fall down to the GDP growth rate of the company.
Okay. So the GDP growth rate what we will consider will be for how many years? Like for up till 2031 I'm preparing, so I'll consider the last 4 years or 3 years. Like what will be that? Like it will be upon me.
Sorry, come again.
Like I have to take up till 2031 for the financial model, 2021 to 2031. So the perpetual growth is suppose say 5% according to the industry in the FMCG, right? So 5% will be for the last 5 years or last 4 years, 3 years. What will be that perpetual growth rate?
Okay,
Because at
so-
some point of time I'm giving the growth rate upward terms or downward terms, right?
Yeah, see what happens in the, so that's what DCF model, in discounted cash flow now, we assume, let me just share a bit about DCF here. Let me just move down. So I didn't. Okay. So what happens? Can you see? I've just taken an example here. Till the time the business in the high growth phase. So that's the time. Can you see that when the growth is higher than the, the constant growth rate? And once the company reached to the constant growth rate, we assume this constant growth rate, which you normally assume close to the GDP, company will sustain forever. Okay, that's an average growth I'm assuming. I'm assuming ki, see, the company is into business of FMCG, and just at the rate at which GDP is growing, right? The per capita income will also grow by that. So at least the company would be able to grow its earning by that pace. Okay. So this constant growth rate goes on forever. And this will help you in calculation of terminal value. Okay. What you need to project the growth rate for this high growth phase. This phase 40. So here I've just taken an example, random growth percentage of growth, right? But in your case, you will take a actual growth rate. Suppose you are taking 8%, 8%, and then you have a declining phase till the constant maturity phase. Suppose you are assuming a maturity phase in a year 2032, and this is the growth of 2028. Now you have 4 years in between, right? And this target growth rate is say 5%. So the simple approach could be I gradually decline this growth rate to my constant growth rate.
Okay.
Okay. And then post that the growth would be constant. There will not be further
Okay.
decline.
Okay, got to know. Like in the starting period, I'm having the growth phase, then in the sustainability period,
Yes.
and at the perpetual growth rate. For just I have to see according to the potential of the company, like how these phases will come, like how in what particular period these phases will come. Okay, and so
Yes.
one more thing. In the bear case and bull case, so what will be the percentage? Like it will be 1%, 1.5, 2%. So that can vary now. So I have done many cases in that I can assume now, because bull case, because actual seeing potential is very good. So in bull case it can also happen ना, so I can assume it कि 1.5% से increase हो रहा है base case पे.
Yes,
तो
yes.
भी
But rather
consider
than that, rather than assuming too much variation in the growth, because actually in a kind of business where you cannot expect a very high growth in the future, you can see the expansion in the margins a bit. You can play around the EBIT margins in your sensitivity table. Okay, growth may I can assume a 1% ka variation on the maximum side, but not much.
And the perpetual growth rate will be constant in all the cases. Now all the three cases, base,
Yes,
bull,
yes, yes, yes. It
and
will be constant
and
forever.
and so one more thing for technical
Mhm.
analysis, I want to ask: will there be any webinars like this for technical analysis understanding?
No, that would
Because
be
I
completely for fundamentals because see, we teach candidate, how to
chart
assess the
pattern.
fundamental valuation of the company, not for the trading purpose. So technical is more for the traders, but we focus
So
on the
actually, as
fundamental.
a research analyst, in the research reports we do now some technical
Mhm.
analysis. For that perspective, I was asking, ki, do you keep the webinars? Like, I'll keep myself up to date for that if you keep the webinars. So that's why I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you.
No. So in case any webinar will be coming for technical side, on the technical side, we'll let you know, but not in the near future. We have
And
any plan.
in the practical investment banking scenarios, like you have worked in so many companies, like you previously
Mhm.
mentioned. So just
Mhm.
wanted to confirm, like as a fresher, I have completed my chartered accountancy and I have
Mhm.
done this financial modeling research report. Like I have got into that industry and I have started learning, prepared 2, 3 financial models for the very first time. So
Mhm.
I'm now having the placements in the next few days for this investment banking. So what could be the 12 to 14 lakhs will be the range. Is this considerable range to ask, or as a fresher, should I reduce it, increase it? Because according to my experience, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter, no? So as a recommendation from your side, I'm asking you like what I can quote, because you know it very well, no? How does the industry work
Mhm.
with the fresher?
See, Vinita, it depends upon the kind of investment bank you are getting placed. If you are getting placed in the bulge bracket investment banks like a top bracket investment banks, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, then the package would be in the initial package would be in the range of 15 to 20 lakh rupees, including the variable part. But if you're getting placed in the mid-size investment banks, then the package range could be 8 to 10, 12 lakh rupees. But that totally depends. My suggestion would be first focus on the profile because that profile will help you in your future growth. Okay. So wherever you're getting the core finance profile, please join that company. Okay. Because I also started with a mediocre firm as a chartered accountant and then, I moved to Goldman Sachs. But that profile, that experience helped me. Right. So that doesn't matter initially if you are sacrificing 1, 2 lakh rupees, that doesn't matter at all. Because what matters is your experience and your start of the career. That matters a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
One, you most welcome. Siddhant, so what metrics should be taken on any company on projecting its revenue? So Siddhant, that depends on the kind of business you are into. If you want to do value projection of the revenue or the profits on the basis of metrics, so just an example here. So metrics based projection can be done. For example, you are doing a projection for Airtel. Okay, so if I'm doing a valuation projection of Airtel, then Airtel projection is based on revenue is based on two things. One is your subscriber ka growth. Okay, subscriber growth. So that's my one key metric, how my subscribers will grow. Now subscribers growth when I'll do projection ना, तो उसके लिए अलग population किस हिसाब से बढ़, penetration कितना है wireless companies का and all, right? तो that's a different projection. Now subscribers growth multiplied by average revenue per user, ARPU, जिसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, ARPU, राइट? तो टेलीकॉम कंपनीज का जो प्रोजेक्शन है दो चीजों पे मैटर करता है कि सब्सक्राइबर कैसे ग्रो करेगा फ्यूचर में, और उसका एवरेज रेवेन्यू पर यूजर कैसे ग्रो करेगा. एवरेज रेवेन्यू पर यूजर डिपेंड करता है कि कंपनी अपना एवरेज टैरिफ कितना बढ़ा रही है, राइट? तो जो आरपू एयरटेल का 300 रुपीज होता था वो जंप करके 350 हो गया सपोज, तो ये किस बेसिस पर हुआ है कि कंपनी ने अपना टैरिफ इंक्रीज किया है. अब फ्यूचर में भी होगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो प्राइसेस इंक्रीज होंगे ना. दिस इज वन फैक्टर. और सब्सक्राइबर कैसे ग्रो करेगा, अब मुझे कैसे पता कि सब्सक्राइबर कैसे ग्रो करेगा, तो मुझे देखना पड़ेगा कि कंपनी का अभी वायरलेस कंपनीज का पेनिट्रेशन किस लेवल पर है. तो सपोज ऑलरेडी 90% पेनिट्रेट हो चुका है मार्केट, राइट? तो अभी 10% अनपेनिट्रेटेड मार्केट है, तो फ्यूचर ग्रोथ डेफिनेटली स्लो डाउन होने वाला है, राइट? तो अब फ्यूचर ग्रोथ की कब तक हम लोग ये 100% पेनिट्रेशन अचीव करेंगे, वन, तो दैट विल इंपैक्ट माई फ्यूचर प्रोजेक्शन. और पॉपुलेशन का कैसे ग्रोथ, क्योंकि अभी तो साइज ऑफ पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से भी तो हमारा सब्सक्राइबर का बेस बढ़ेगा ना. तो वो सब फैक्टर्स हैं जो कि एक इंडस्ट्री, एक कंपनी के प्रोजेक्शन में आपको कंसिडर करना है. यहीं अगर ये कंपनी होता, सपोज पावर कंपनी होता, अब यहाँ पावर कंपनी में सब्सक्राइबर्स नहीं होते. पावर कंपनी में क्या होगा बेसिस ऑफ प्रोजेक्शन, एनी आइडिया? अगर मुझे मेट्रिक्स फाइंड करने हैं पावर कंपनी में, तो पावर कंपनी के मेट्रिक्स क्या होंगे बताओ, जिसपे आपका प्रोजेक्शन कंपनी का रेवेन्यू डिपेंड करेगा. पावर परचेज एग्रीमेंट, क्या रेट मिल रहा है, आपने सपोज टैरिफ रेट 7 रुपए पे एग्रीमेंट साइन किया हुआ है, राइट? तो ये एक पर लॉन्ग टर्म यानी 5 साल का, 10 साल का, तो ऐसे आपका प्रोजेक्शन डिसाइड होगा कि नेक्स्ट 7 ईयर के लिए मेरे 7 रुपीज फ्रीज है. बट उसके साथ साथ कितना यूनिट्स आप प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, यूनिट्स ऑफ पावर, राइट? एंड यूनिट्स ऑफ पावर किसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, आपका कैपेसिटी क्या है. अब मैं केपेक्स ही नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैंने प्रोजेक्शन में मैं बोल रहा हूं कि मेरा हर साल 20% यूनिट से ग्रो करेगा. यानी लास्ट ईयर मैंने 800 यूनिट बेचा था, नेक्स्ट ईयर मैं 1000 यूनिट बेचूंगा. पर कैसे, केपेक्स कहां पे, क्या कंपनी एक्सपेंशन कर रही है, तो वो मुझे मॉडल में फैक्टर करना पड़ेगा. यानी जब आप मॉडल्स बनाते हो ना गाइस, तो आपको हर फैक्टर को कंसिडर करना पड़ेगा. यानी ये पावर प्लांट अगर अपना यूनिट इतना बढ़ाना है तो उसको कितना प्लांट एंड एडिशनल कैपेसिटी बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. और ये कौन सा पावर प्लांट है, रिन्यूएबल है यानी कोल पावर प्लांट है, कौन सा है, उसका कितना कैपेसिटी एक्सपेंशन होगा, तो कितना उसको खर्चा और फ्यूचर में करना पड़ेगा. और अगर यही एक इंडस्ट्री होता, सपोज होटल इंडस्ट्री होता, तो होटल इंडस्ट्री में मैं बोलता है कि यार ये होटल का कितना रूम्स है, मेरा कंपनी के पास ऑलरेडी 500 रूम्स हैं, जिसमें से 400 रूम्स ऑक्यूपाइड हैं, मतलब ऑक्यूपेंसी रेट कंपनी का 80% है. तो मैं फ्यूचर में कहूँगा अप टू 100 ही जा सकता है ना, उसके बियॉन्ड तो आई कैन नॉट सेल मोर रूम्स. और एवरेज रूम रेट कितना है कंपनी का, और कैसे ये फ्यूचर में ग्रो करेगा. सो जस्ट टू गिव यू अ पर्सपेक्टिव, जब आप मॉडलिंग करते हो ना, विच इज़ वेरी कोर ऑफ एनी कोर फाइनेंस रोल. फाइनेंस का रोल स्टार्ट कहाँ से होता है कि कंपनी का प्रोजेक्शंस कैसे करना है, रेवेन्यू कैसे निकालना है, प्रॉफिट्स कैसे निकालना है. और गाइज जितने भी फंड मैनेजर्स हैं, जितने भी बैंकर्स हैं, राइट, जितने भी कंसल्टेंट हैं, उनका कोर यही होता है कि कंपनी के अर्निंग्स को प्रेडिक्ट करना. जो कंपनी के अर्निंग्स को प्रेडिक्ट करना सीख जाता है वो डेफिनेटली मार्केट में भी अच्छा कर सकता है. एज अ पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजर यू कैन डू बेस्ट बिकॉज अदर पीपल आर नॉट गेटिंग इन टू दोज डिटेल्स. उनको तो सिर्फ स्टॉक प्राइस से मतलब है, राइट? तो फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग इज द फर्स्ट स्किल सेट यू शुड हैव, राइट, टू बी इनटू फाइनेंस रोल, राइट? चाहे आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं, चाहे आप MBA हैं, चाहे आप CFA हैं, बिकॉज फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग जैसे जो प्रैक्टिकल स्किल सेट है वो नॉर्मली हम लोग एकेडमिक्स में नहीं सीखते. तो फाइनेंशियल मॉडल्स क्या सिखाते हैं आपको, दे टीच यू हाउ टू प्रिडिक्ट कंपनीज फ्यूचर, राइट? उसके बाद आता है सब वैल्यूएशन, राइट? वैल्यूएशन इज DCF हो गया, तो उस जो प्रोजेक्शन किया है उसके बेसिस पे कंपनी का आज का वैल्यू क्या बनता है, राइट? तो DCF के अंदर हम कवर करते हैं. रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन, कंपैरिजन बेस्ड जो हमने डिस्कस किया, उस पे भी हमें प्रोजेक्शन चाहिए कि कंपनी का करंट अर्निंग कैसे एक्सपेंड करेगा, क्योंकि पी को जब पेग में कन्वर्ट किया तो आई नीड फ्यूचर ग्रोथ. तो गाइज अल्टीमेटली you should be able to project companies earning using these spreadsheets, very important, and then you should be able to do valuation. This is one core skill set which is required. Second is presentation, pitch deck, and all. Yes, Siddhant, do you have follow-up question?
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
hi.
I have a question that who are the most widely users of these DCF values? My question related to the suppose a person investing their own money, and is this an add-on skill if they also do the valuation on the basis of DCF? So, which is widely used? Do they rely on relative valuation only or the DCF?
सिद्धांत, मैं दोनों यूज़ करता हूँ, और अगर आप देखेंगे जितने भी सक्सेसफुल इन्वेस्टर्स हैं, देखो रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन का एक ड्रॉबैक है, बता देता हूँ मैं आपको. रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन सिर्फ आपको ये बताता है आउट ऑफ गिवन स्टॉक्स विच स्टॉक इज अंडर प्राइस्ड, ठीक है, बट व्हाट इफ एंटायर मार्केट इज ओवर प्राइस्ड, राइट? तो रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन आपको जो स्टॉक बता रहा है, हो सकता है वो खुद भी एक्सपेंसिव हो स्टॉक. डीसीएफ वैल्यूएशन क्या बता रहा है कि उसके फ्यूचर कैश फ्लोज के बेस पर, राइट? हम लोगों ने डिस्कस नहीं किया डीसीएफ, बहुत ही ब्रीफली, बहुत बेसिक सा एग्जांपल है, बट डीसीएफ में हम देखते हैं कि कंपनी के फ्यूचर कैश फ्लोज के बेस पर उसका ट्रू वैल्यू क्या बनता है. तो अगर आप वॉरेन बफेट का इन्वेस्टमेंट स्टाइल देखेंगे तो ही रिलाई मोर ऑन द इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू, राइट? मैं दोनों यूज करता हूँ, इंट्रिंसिक एज वेल एज रिलेटिव. रिलेटिव के बेस पे जो स्टॉक सस्ता है उसके बाद हम लोग उसका डीसीएफ करते हैं. अगर वो डीसीएफ के बेसिस पे भी सस्ता आ रहा है, देन देयर इज अ डबल कंफर्मेशन कि स्टॉक इज गोना टू गिव यू बेस्ट रिटर्न इन द फ्यूचर. कोई चांस ही नहीं है कि वो स्टॉक मार्केट में फ्यूचर में ना चले, क्योंकि उसका फंडामेंटल उसको इतना वैल्यूएशन दे रहा है. आई होप आई कुड आंसर. या
Okay. So the most of the equity research report I've seen, because the sell side report, actually maybe I don't know the much detail. That's why I'm asking you. I've seen their report. There is nowhere mentioning about the DCF value like that, but most of them they have compared it on relative values only, ना?
सी रिसर्च रिपोर्ट्स जो टारगेट देती है ना, आपने देखा होगा रिसर्च रिपोर्ट में सिर्फ ईयरली टारगेट दिया होता है, राइट?
Yes.
तो वो हाँ, उनका बेसिस क्या होता है टारगेट का, वो क्या करते हैं कि कंपनी का जस्टिफाइड पी निकालते हैं, राइट? सपोज पी, मैं एक सिंपल पी मल्टीपल की बात करूँ, जस्टिफाइड पी आता है सपोज 20x, यानी कंपनी 20x का पी कमांड कर लेगी. सपोज अभी कंपनी का प्राइस सपोज 1000 रुपये चल रहा है, ठीक है, और कंपनी का अर्निंग्स है सपोज ईपीएस है कंपनी का लेट्स से 50 रुपीज़. तो कंपनी करंटली अपने जस्टिफाइड पी पे ट्रेड कर रहा है 20 पे, और 20 पे ही करना चाहिए रिलेटिव बेसिस पे. सपोज नाउ दे से कि नेक्स्ट ईयर कंपनी का जो ईपीएस है वो ग्रो करके 60 हो जाएगा इमीडिएट नेक्स्ट ईयर. वो क्या देंगे कि नेक्स्ट ईयर का जो टारगेट है हमारा वो होगा 60 इंटू 20x, यानी 1200 रुपये. तो उसने बहुत सिंपल मैथ्स लगाया यहाँ पे, पर यहाँ पे वो क्या कर रहा है, वहाँ पे सिर्फ वो क्या कर रहा है, फ्यूचर की अर्निंग को एस्टिमेट करके उसके ऊपर एक जस्टिफाइड पी मल्टीपल लगा रहा है, और एक सिंपल टारगेट प्राइस आपको दे रहा है कि अगर कंपनी अपने पी मल्टीपल पे स्टैंड करती है तो 1200 का प्राइस नेक्स्ट ईयर हो जाएगा, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट ईयर की अर्निंग होने वाली 60 रुपीज़. दिस इज व्हाट मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में रिसर्च रिपोर्ट में आप देखेंगे.
Okay. So is there any flaw in this like that?
डेफिनेटली देयर इज अ फ्लॉ इज व्हाट कि आप मार्केट की, जब मार्केट में बबल क्रिएट होता है ना, तो वो बबल आप इसमें आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सकते.
Okay. So
Right.
on that way, the DCF valuation will be more like
मोर
that conservative way, ना?
यस.
For most.
मेरे हिसाब से तो ट्रू वैल्यूएशन ही डीसीएफ है, और रिलेटिव आपको एक रिलेटिव टर्म्स में बताता है कि वैल्यूएशन इसका स्टॉक का किसका ज़्यादा प्राइस है. रादर आई विल कॉल रिलेटिव एज अ प्राइसिंग टेक्निक रादर देन अ वैल्यूएशन टेक्निक. एक सिंपल एग्जांपल मैं आपको लेके बताता हूँ. सपोज आप एक रियल एस्टेट खरीदने जाते हो, ठीक है. अब रियल एस्टेट खरीदने जाते हो तो आपके पास 4 चॉइसेस हैं, ए बी सी डी. ए इज अवेलेबल एट 50 लाख रुपीज़ का प्रॉपर्टी, 100 लाख का प्रॉपर्टी यानी 1 करोड़, 200 लाख का प्रॉपर्टी और 250 लाख का प्रॉपर्टी, ठीक है. अब जाहिर सी बात है इनके एरियाज अलग होंगे, तभी तो सेम एरिया में प्रॉपर्टी के प्राइसेस में डिफरेंस है. तो मैंने एरिया से इसको कंपेयर किया. तो एरिया इसका आया सपोज 100 स्क्वायर फीट एरिया, इसका एरिया आया से 200 स्क्वायर फीट, इसका एरिया आया सपोज 350 स्क्वायर फीट, और इसका एरिया आया 250 लाख की जो प्रॉपर्टी है इसका एरिया आता है आपका से 400 स्क्वायर फीट. अब आप यूजुअली क्या करते हो इन प्राइसेस को कंपेयर करने के लिए, आप प्राइस पर स्क्वायर फीट निकालते हो ना,
Right, sir.
राइट उसके बेस पे डिसाइड करते हो कि नॉर्मली प्राइस क्या चल रहा है. अभी मैं इस कैलकुलेशन में नहीं जाऊंगा. सपोज प्राइस पर स्क्वायर फीट आ रहा है यहाँ पर 10,000 रुपए एक एवरेज. कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज 9 पे भी ट्रेड कर रही है, कुछ 12 पे भी ट्रेड कर रही है. आप बोलोगे 12 वाला ओवर प्राइस्ड है, 9 वाला अंडर प्राइस्ड है. 10,000 पर स्क्वायर फीट इज द राइट प्राइस फॉर दिस एरिया. यही होगा. आपकी एक टारगेट प्रॉपर्टी है जिसका साइज है 300 स्क्वायर फीट. आप उसको मल्टीप्लाई करोगे 10,000, बोलोगे 30 लाख इज द राइट प्राइस. यही बोलोगे आप, राइट. अब इस केस में आप मुझे बताओ कि 10,000 किसने जस्टिफाई किया. ये जो 10,000 आपने निकाला एवरेज प्राइस, किसने जस्टिफाई किया? ये डीसीएफ वैल्यू है? ये सिर्फ मार्केट में अभी क्या चल रहा है. अगर कल को मार्केट करेक्ट हो जाए, पूरा रियल एस्टेट मार्केट, तो ये 10,000 के नीचे नहीं आएगा. दिस 10,000 कैन बिकम 8,000, राइट. अगर प्रॉपर्टी मार्केट क्रैश होता है तो इट कैन फर्दर कम डाउन टू 6,000 ऑल्सो, राइट. तो ये सिर्फ एक रिलेटिव टर्म में बताता है आपको. ऐसे पी मल्टीपल, सेल्स मल्टीपल, ये जितने भी मल्टीपल्स हैं, ये बताते हैं आज के सिनेरियो में कौन सी कंपनी सस्ती है. अगर मार्केट ओवर प्राइस्ड है ऑलरेडी, तो करेक्शन तो सब में आएगा. फिर हो सकता है जो स्टॉक आपने चीप खरीदा वो कम करेक्ट हो. इतना ही फर्क है, क्योंकि आपने बहुत ज्यादा, आपने ऑल स्टॉक्स में से वो स्टॉक खरीदा जो कम ओवर प्राइस था, राइट. बट डीसीएफ ऐसा नहीं करता. डीसीएफ बोलता है अर्निंग्स के बेस पे क्या वैल्यू बनता है.
Okay. So one more follow-up question, sir. Actually, then we can assume in a layman term or broader sense like that, the company who have a cash flow from operation have generated a substantial cash flow per generation. Suppose the cash flow per generation is more than 100% to net profit. Okay, for continuous period, or more than cumulative 10-year period. For those companies, the DCF valuation would be in this kind of market where the lot of the stocks have tumbled down. Lot of the companies, like the blue chip company, the valuation will be fairly okay. Like the DCF value will be if the market compared, and a lot of the small cap companies who have not yet on or converted their cash flow operations, they are overpriced like that.
So see, in the current scenario, Siddhant, but
those who have not converted the cash flow from operations, like new age companies or lot of the like blue chip, not like the blue chip small cap companies, mostly that who have cash flow from operation conversion only 30%. Okay, for last 3 to 5 years like that. But the market is anticipating, as you can see, that relative values are usually that. But on that basis, the DCF values of those companies who have 30% conversion rate would be like that very low.
Okay, no, it's not like that, Siddhant. If the company's net income cash flows to the net income ratio is low, but I can understand from your query, if the company is not able to convert the net income into cash, so where that remaining cash is going, income is going, it means the company is incurring huge investment in the capex and working capital change, right? So this will reflect into your model in terms of high growth. The growth is also coming. The DCF model is not just about the cash flows. It's how the cash flows will grow in the future. Okay. So, but if you are saying that growth is also mundane, right? There is not much higher growth and still the company is not able to convert the income into cash, ratio is too low, then definitely bad company. The valuation will come for low.
I was applying that practical skills on the market because I've invested in Venus Pipe. Okay. For educational purpose, I'm saying that. Well, okay, Venus Pipe in May last year. Okay, that time I'm not aware of like kind of, but I studied all the things. I compared with relatable who are the listed compared. Ratnamani metal I have checked and lot of the metals. I have seen the scam metallic also. I have seen that conversion cash flow from operation is more than 100%. Whereas the Venus Pipe have the conversion is 33 to 34%.
But did you try to check where the remaining cash is going?
Yes, because they are doing intensive capex.
That's what. And that capex should result into higher growth. So that growth is also increasing your valuation in the future, right? So as long as company is able to justify its reinvestment through the higher growth, I'm absolutely fine. That company is not expensive and the valuation will come higher, not lower, because growth will increase your future cash flows, na?
Because I calculated the DCF model of that Venus Pipe, I found the real value, intrinsic value of that company is below 600. But for Ratnamani metal is high. So that's why I'm saying that because the cash flow conversion is low, capex are doing more. So I thought that
No, but you didn't factor, I think, higher growth also. The capex should result into higher growth.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I took now that I have taken the market assumption that taken the revenue on the revenue part. I will run the broker report. Okay, they estimate what the 3 to 4 brokers are anticipating the future growth will be for the Venus 5 for FY 27, 28, 29. Okay, so took that into account. On that model,
that's better because those brokers reports should factor those growth, right, coming from the capex.
Okay. So that is the thing I wanted to ask.
Sure.
But I'm learning because no one can be perfect.
Yes. See, in the entire life we learn, right? Even after 20 years of experience in the corporate finance, we still learn from you guys also. I had a webinar, class on valuation classes on master. So in economic times. So there were many questions coming from the different sectors, for different kind of people from the different level of the, in their industry. So we got to learn so much because that exposure was totally different. One was a fund manager, right? So his question was totally different from the person who is working in the private equity fund, from a person who is a CFO of a company, of a metal company. So that's a learning, right? Entire life we learn.
Okay. And one more question. So do you also look for the con call readings of each company?
Yes, that's very important.
Okay. So usually the small cap company, what I have came across that they are most of the time they are not true on their words. Usually when the bear market came, okay, yes, we are doing heavy capex and we are expecting that H2 onward the plant will capacity will further, like that statement usually. And when we see the further con call, वो एक्सटेंड कर देते हैं उनको कि अब वो Q3 Q4 में हम लोग करेंगे. तो उस केस में हम लोग किनको रिलाई करना पड़ता है मोस्टली लाइक दैट. दो बड़े बड़े जो कंपनीज हो गए उनकी कौन कौन
देखो बिल्कुल आप ना हिस्टोरिकली भी देखा करो कि कंपनी ने क्या गाइडेंस दिया, तो गाइडेंस कितने परसेंटेज से मिस किया एक्चुअल नंबर्स के कंपैरिजन में. तो दैट शोज द रिलायबिलिटी ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट. इफ द मैनेजमेंट सो गाइडेंस इज नॉट रिलायबल तो उसको मार्केट इतना सीरियसली लेती भी नहीं है. ओके, बट 90% केसेस में कंपनीज अपने जो भी गाइडेंस देती है वो कोशिश करती है रिलायबल रहे, क्योंकि इफ द मैनेजमेंट डज नॉट डिलीवर एज पर द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ द मार्केट तो फ्यूचर में कंपनी के लिए काफ़ी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है फंड रेज करना, और स्टॉक प्राइस स्टेबल नहीं रहता फिर.
Okay, what I have seen now that the con call, suppose a company is वो उसी सेगमेंट में डील कर रहे हैं, बट उनके जो लीडर हैं, उनके कॉन कॉल के प्रोमोटर्स जो होते हैं, मैनेजमेंट हो गए, उनसे डिस्कशन जो एनालिस्ट टॉक करते हैं, वो बोलते हैं वो कंजर्वेटिव काफी रहते हैं, बोलते हैं कि अभी हम कुछ.
हाँ, इसीलिए क्योंकि देखो आप ओवर डिलीवर करोगे अंडर प्रॉमिस करके वो चलेगा, ओवर प्रॉमिस करके अंडर डिलीवर करोगे तो वो नहीं चलेगा. तो मार्केट फिर आपको, अगर एक बार मार्केट का ट्रस्ट ब्रेक होता है ना मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर, तो उसको रीबिल्ड करने में बहुत टाइम लगता है.
राइट.
तो ये डेफिनेटली होता है. इसीलिए आप कॉन कॉल को रिलाई कर सकते हो अनलेस एंटिल बहुत ही खराब ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है मैनेजमेंट का, तो फिर डेफिनेटली आप उसको इग्नोर करें. ठीक है.
राइट.
ओके, एनी अदर क्वेरी गाइस? Garish, you have any query?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this session, guys, and you can stay connected with me on my LinkedIn. Okay. Till then, please keep practicing these concepts. They are very helpful. Okay, and there are a couple of videos on the DCF also on my YouTube in case you want to cover this technique in detail. Okay. Thank you so much.